Today, we're going to review the last bit of October art that I did. I was working off of random prompts provided to me daily through New York Times Wordle game. And whatever 5-letter word solved the puzzle also presented me with a puzzle to solve. Like, how in the heck do I make a piece of art out of this? My name is Brian, and I am a word game addict. And I also love making art, so let's combine the two. We'll also visit with Philipe, the grumpy snail, to see if maybe we can get things smoothed over with his hat-wearing cat nemesis. A few videos ago, he was just livid, and I think we need to sort this out like civilized folk. But first, some art. I got the word fiber as the prompt on October 19th. What I decided to do was create this cute old little avocado dude because avocados are high in fiber. And this particular one is hanging from a single fiber. And it begs the question, will he survive being turned into guacamole? Will he activate his wings and fly away? The possibilities abound. This is a bit of a play on another drawing I did, which I turned into a sticker. And I don't actually know what this thing is, but I kind of like how it looks. The next prompt was dicey, and not feeling completely inspired. There are days like that. We have some delinquent fauna playing dice in an alley. I was originally going to have them playing Yahtzee, but that was just too hard to get across. I also drew what looks like a slug, and I truly do not remember doing that, and for the life of me, I don't know why, because it looks more like a melting popsicle or something. Yeah, not my finest work right here. Oh well. Let's go on to the next one. The word was spoon, and I love spoons. I mean, they come in such beautiful, strange shapes, and they feed me soup, and I'm all about the soup. But instead of silverware, I went with the lead singer and guitarist from the band Spoon. His name is Britt Daniel. Spoon was formed in Austin, and I think of them as being a local band, even though they're pretty much global these days. And if you're into rock and post-punk stuff, you probably already know these guys. Really solid band, worth giving an ear to. I was trying to think of, like, what songs would I suggest, like, to pick a top 5. I couldn't do it. There's just too many. Anyway, I do like the sketch of Mr. Daniel. I think it kind of captures his likeness and his attitude. I like it. The next word was shout, and I'm gonna rewind the tape a bit, and you can just see what happened.
What's more, you dusty scoundrel, I don't have opposable thumbs. If I'm expected to go chase your hat in the wind, how is it that I'm supposed to bring it back anyway? You flea bag.
My friend, I am so sorry I offended you. I have been traveling west for quite some time, and I was sad and lonely. And it's a bit hard to keep my head focused, when you're all alone. And I heard you holding forth at the saloon, and I thought to myself, well, now there's a snail that can talk about anything with absolutely no consideration to losing his breath. I simply wanted a traveling companion to keep myself sane.
So you're trying to tell me you weren't paying me to chase your fancy hat?
I believe what I asked you specifically was, would you come along and help me pay attention with some chit-chat?
Pay attention with some chit-chat? Well, I think I heard you say you pay me for protection of your pink hat. Did I hear you wrong? I'm feeling a bit sorrowful now, and I'm a big enough snail to tell you I am sorry.
It sounds to me like those two are sorting things out. And while they're doing that, let's get goofy. This is one of those words that could have had a zillion associated drawings, and to me that's just super hard, narrowing it down from infinity to one. Honestly, I just started drawing and I didn't think much about it as I was doing it. Is it goofy? Is it weird? Is it something else? I don't know. You let me know. And what is up with that? Is it a gecko or a lizard? I don't know. I don't have an explanation for everything. And if you watched my last video, I had a drawing that spawned the snack chip Grackle Snackles. And that drawing was inspired from this drawing for Bossy. Squirrels, they do be bossy. But knowing Grackles and their penchant for tortilla chips, I doubt the squirrel needed to work very hard or be obnoxiously bossy. And speaking of bossy, wait, I hear...
Sorry.
Yep.
What I done put you through, well, it wasn't right. I tell you what, I will make it up to you by getting you some Grackles Snackles at the next town. It's the very least I can do.
Grackles, Snackles, why that would be mighty fine of you.
Aw, they're gonna be friends. I hate to follow that touching moment with a frown, but that's the prompt. I showed this guy earlier because I made a bandmate for him that plays violin. But yeah, I do like this. He's got character. He's pretty simple, but yeah, I like it. The next prompt was reek. And I had this idea of a beaver chewing through a tree, and that tree falling and wreaking havoc. I just upped the ante a bit to make this a house on a stilt. But I learned something because I often do some research. And did you know that beavers will chew at a tree and then they'll stop and they'll listen for a creaking that might indicate that the tree is about to fall? So they'll chew, eat, and listen. Chew, eat, listen. That is pretty cool, and that's a factoid for you that you can bring to your next game of mahjong, or maybe play bridge, or whatever you do. The next word was Sandy, and as much as I wanted to immortalize Olivia Newton-John in Greece, I decided to go with a skillfully built sandcastle created by a friendly neighborhood engineering snail. Not bad, I say. Not bad at all. Bawdy was one of those words that I had to get creative with. And that got me to do some research, which often makes interesting ideas percolate. Now, I know that Shakespeare often employed bawdy humor in his plays, and I'm not going to get into it here, but there are scholars that believe that the very title of Much Ado About Nothing is a risque reference, particularly to the nothing part. If you're interested, you can look it up if you're curious. I should add that there are also other scholars that say, yeah, that's a bunch of baloney. So keep that in mind as well. Just to make things a bit more quirky, I decided to leave the last word out because, it really is nothing. When I got the word tunic, I had envisioned some maybe Middle Eastern garb at first. But as I considered it further, I thought of characters like Robin Hood, who were sometimes portrayed as wearing a tunic, and so I went in that direction with this. We have a tunic surrounding a squirrel, and I think, I do like this guy. I think he's a conscientious fighter for the little guy, especially if the little guy has a fluffy tail attached to him. Yeah, he's adorable. Easel. Well, I think I missed the mark a bit with this one because the main subject ends up being the acorn, I think, and not the easel. But it did get me to envision this scene of yet another squirrel, but this time doing life studies. And the naked acorn form is beautiful. The next word was weird, which is kind of like goofy in that it's so open-ended and there's so many possibilities. So I started thinking about doing something surreal, and then this image of Magritte's came to mind. The Treachery of Images is the name of the piece. La Trahison des Images, I think, if my French is okay. He did a couple different versions of this. But in which there's a pipe that's painted. The words say this is not a pipe because, of course, it's just a painting of a pipe, not a pipe itself. But more importantly, in French, pipe is pronounced peep. And thus, the marshmallow peep. I was really giddy with this idea, and I poked around a bit online, and I was disappointed to find out that I was not the first person to come up with this, not the second or the third either, but I came to this idea honestly, so I feel okay about it. And speaking of weird, check out my path to victory on this one. I mean, I hardly ever get it in 2, and much less when my first guess hits nothing, so hey. Well, that was the last of my 93 drawings from October, and if you've joined me along the way, thank you so much. I really appreciate everyone that stops by and gives my humble little videos a like. And I love hearing from you, so please don't be shy about leaving a comment if you feel inclined to do so. I don't know what I'm doing next week yet, so we'll both be surprised. Join me and let's find out. Until then, bye-bye.
I didn't even realize you didn't have opposable thumbs, my friend. I'm not even quite sure what thumbs are. They like enlarged toe beans?
I do believe they are used to pull plums out of Christmas pies, and apparently it makes one a good boy. I sure do wish I had a thumb.